From Washington via remote, I'm Diane Roberts, VOA News.
The fighting is raging on in the Ukrainian city of Soledar.
And this is, of course, not only confirmed by soldiers themselves, but also by Ukrainian officials that, unfortunately, the losses there are huge.
Plus, a change in leadership for Russia's military. But what does it mean?
If Putin is sending his best strategists to command the troops on the ground, it means that he's quite desperate.
And later in the program, Human Rights Watch has released its annual report, and our conversation with a former ambassador in the region continues. Today's Thursday, January 12th. From the Voice of America in Washington, this is Flashpoint, Ukraine. Good evening, I'm Steve Karish. The city of Soledar is seeing some of the fiercest fighting of the war so far. The AP's Karen Chamas brings us this update.
In one of the bloodiest battles of Russia's invasion, the fate of the eastern Ukrainian town of Soledar hangs in the balance. Russian forces used jets, mortars and rockets to bombard Soledar in an unrelenting assault. If Soledar were to fall into Russian hands, it would be a prize for a Kremlin starved of good battlefield news in recent months. It would also offer Russian troops a springboard to conquer other areas of Donetsk province that remain under Ukrainian control, such as the nearby strategic city of Bakhmut. In the trenches in the Donetsk region, Ukrainian troops fire mortars at Russian forces. A Ukrainian soldier known as Festa tells the AP the Russian military fires relentlessly, sometimes just for practice. He said, "They don't shoot like we do. We count and clearly try to work well." I'm Karen Chamas.
Ukrainian authorities still maintain that Russian forces have not completely taken control of Soledar, but they do acknowledge the fighting is difficult and the costs are high. Russia is building up its forces in Ukraine, but Ukrainian forces are holding on amid fierce fighting. This according to Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar. On Thursday, she told a news briefing that the number of Russian military units in Ukraine has risen to 280 from 250 a week earlier, as Moscow tried to gain the strategic initiative. She said Russia is driving its own people to the slaughter by the thousands, but we are holding on. She continued.
Fighting is fierce in the Soledar direction near Bakhmut. Despite difficult situation, Ukrainian soldiers are desperately fighting, trying to break through our defense lines without any luck, though, and to capture Soledar. The enemy has high losses. The area outside the city is covered with the bodies of Putin's troops. Nevertheless, they, the Russians, are moving over their own corpses.
On Wednesday, President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Russian claims of victory in Soledar are propaganda. What's in the annual report from Human Rights Watch? We'll find out soon. Now, though, Russia ordered its top general on Wednesday to take charge of its faltering invasion of Ukraine in the biggest shakeup yet of its malfunctioning military command structure after months of battlefield setbacks. Reuters' Olivia Zelino has the details.
Russia shook up its top leadership in charge of its faltering invasion of Ukraine on Wednesday after months of battlefield setbacks. According to Russia's defense ministry, Chief of the General Staff